So I'm glad to have a student to here. Thank you. That's because he's my student. Okay. So I used to be a neurosurgeon. So that's why I talk about clinical consideration. I used to be a neurosurgeon then psychiatrist. I'm not a good neurosurgeon. I was not a good psychiatrist. I'm not. Because I know little about research then. So I began to learn research almost 20 years ago. But now, about 80 years ago, I moved back to hospital. So that's my concern. First one is too many analytic methods and the papers for registry fMRI, just as talked by Russ. For EEG or MEG, the most prevailing analytic method is the amplitude or power for single time course. That's very, very simple. We can check by visual inspection or quantitative EEG, something like that. So of course we can do network analysis by using MEG or EEG. For another popular functional neuroimaging technique that PET in clinical, the prevailing method is mean value over a period of time. But for registry fMRI, that has fairly good spatial and temporal resolution. We have a lot of methods to analyze the data. Countless methods, even for the most simplest one, the seed-based linear correlation, we have countless seeds. So we have countless stories then we have countless papers. But for when we analyze the local activity, much less methods we can use. The simplest one is also power or amplitude. That's the same as that used in EEG or MEG to analyze the power or amplitude. For example, in this study, they found increased amplitude in the medial temporal lobe of medial temporal lobe epileptic patients. So that might be helpful to localize the locus of epileptic genetic locus. Second one, my concern is too few meta-analysis papers. Although we have very good scientists for meta-analysis. We compare the task fMRI and the resistance fMRI. The problem for task fMRI is we have a lot of countless paradigms for task fMRI, but the analytic method is very, very similar. That's GLM. Sorry for this cartoon figure. This should be done. So I just copied it but it's wrong. I don't know why. For resistance fMRI, the design is very similar, okay? But we have countless analytic methods, so it should be done. Actually, we have a lot of analytic meta papers for task fMRI for almost every task, every disorder. An example of this one is although the task design varies a lot, these authors summarized into 20 tasks. So they found one interesting thing is some regions are involved in many almost 20 tasks. So I think the task fMRI, the two databases are very helpful. But for registry fMRI, we can analyze the local activity or network. The problem is we can see the total number of papers. So for local activity is much less than network analysis. So the problem is, although the network analysis is quite different, so that's helpful because our brain is very comprehensive, very complex. So we should use many analytic paper methods to publish many papers, and it's better for young guys. We need papers, right? So that's okay. But the problem is, at least especially from a clinical consideration, too less meta papers. So I think good meta papers in retinal fMRI for brain disorders is only there are only 9. Okay, this is in this paper. This from a group of UK. They found increased spontaneous activity in the middle temporal lobe of in the MPFC for depressed patients. Another that 20 papers also found increased amplitude of low frequency in the MPFC. And this is from PD, only 15 studies. They found decreased amplitude of low frequency ALF in the putamen. So the limitations for the existing meta, 2 less original papers, and another is publication bias. So a better way is to perform meta-analysis on the raw data. So I'm glad to collaborate with Chao Gang and 30 research centers and publish the paper of depression on the raw data. Okay. Another concern is too stringent statistical p-value. So I think everyone knows this PNAS paper. To some extent, it means more stringent correction means less false positive. In this study, we collaborate with 20 centers and on PD data and as well as autism. So one main finding is that the sample size is the effect size is very small, and if we take the meta results as a gold and the silver standard, the false positive for each study is very high, almost 80%, regardless of the way of correction. We use the 3 ways of correction. So as shown, we can say for PD data, we found decreased ALF in the putamen. That's quite consistent with the hypothesis. Putamen is the most abnormal. That sounds okay. But this table showed for each study we have 17 centers for the PD off data. We use a correction. 1 to 11 clusters survived in each center. But for the putamen, only 3 centers survived the correction. That's a big problem. For metadata, this is the most abnormal, but in each center, only 3 centers showed abnormal activity there. So the problem is the p-value is okay, but we should not believe it so much. So I like this one. So in the Chinese saying, 打哪儿指哪儿 or 指哪儿打哪儿. So something like we should have very, very strong hypothesis where it should be abnormal, then forget the p-value first. So I'm sorry for my English. There should be a very good translating of 打哪儿指哪儿指哪儿打哪儿. Okay, so one aim for the radius fMRI, at least for me, is precise localization of the abnormal activity, then help the clinical practice. So one thing I'm very interested in is brain stimulation. For now, we have some non-invasive stimulation, especially for TMS. So I like it because it's non-invasive and the focus is okay. So I like this paper. This paper is published in Science. They use TMS to stimulate the cortical surface, and then via pharmaconnectivity to influence the activity of the hippocampus. After 5 days RTMS, the memory increased. So I think in this way we can, if we can precisely localize the abnormal activity for AD or PD, then we can use TMS to stimulate on the brain surface. That will be very, very helpful for many, many brain disorders. Okay, a summary, at least for clinical studies, for radius fMRI, multi-centers should be collaborate to reduce the sample bias, to increase the reproducibility. And now although we have many analytical methods, we do need some new to increase the effect size. So another. So I think we should share our raw data, at least to show to publish your team map, raw team map, not threshold team map. So I strongly agree with Simon, because I have many collaborators. I cannot list them because so many pages, not too many. I hope to be to have more collaborations. So thank you.
Okay, so thank you for the wonderful talk.